listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Greetings, peace, family. You're now tuned in to the mighty Narrative Podcast. The Narrative Podcast is the home of original people peace, original people reciprocity, and original people positivity. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. I am your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome all my narrators. So I got a pretty good show for you this evening. My regular listeners that tune into the audience or tune into my platform on a regular basis, I call them my narrators. They already know what the platform is about, and how I'll be presenting the content on here. But for those unfamiliar with me and my platform, how I generally kick things off is I promote all my current projects that I would like the listening audience to support so I can keep the platform going. And then I walk you through a brief overview of the Narrative Podcast and dive right on into the content. So this evening, I'm going to start things off a little differently. This is kind of a call to action / call to prayer / united front. There is an innocent brother scheduled to be executed today. They might already be, getting his execution underway or already have done it. The brother's name is Marcellus Williams, and he has been currently serving the last over 20 years in Missouri. I believe in the St. Louis area of Missouri, and he was convicted of a crime that involved the unaliving of a then reporter who happened to be a white woman, and they put him on death row. Now, they didn't have any circumstantial evidence. They didn't have any DNA. They didn't have anything connecting him directly as a person, or anything placing him at the crime scene, the then alleged crime scene at all. So they had no DNA. They had nothing. They had no witness statements. They had nothing. They basically just locked him up. And the crazy thing is, the judge presiding, examined the evidence and looked at it, pretty much dismissed the case and said it would be on the hands of the next judge to look at it. The next judge looked at it and said the charges are going to remain the same. Now, they violated all of his civil rights. They tampered with evidence. They dismissed a jury member because of his race. They dismissed a black juror because of his race. They try to say because he had dreadlocks. And just a whole bunch of other foul stuff. This is a complete travesty of justice. This is not the way to kick off the presidential elections. So he hasn't been put to death yet. He might after this broadcast, gets uploaded to all platforms. So like I said, this is just a call to, call to justice. They may postpone it. I don't know. There hasn't been any breaking news updates yet. They may put it off. But yeah, that's what's going on. So this is like a call to action, moment of prayer. And, we got to just brace. Because if they put that brother, to his death over this, we have to, we have to brace ourselves for impact. The people of that, our people, original people, they're not going to take that. They're not going to take that. I just know that. They're not going to peacefully demonstrate and candlelight visuals. That's not going to happen. It's going to be all bad if they put that brother to death. And it's going to spark something nationwide. Again, it's going to be like George Floyd all over again. So, this is a really tough time right now. So super duper serious. Call to action to all, content creators, all celebrities within our community, actors, actresses, comedians, recording artists, rappers, singers. Now's the time. You're just looking for a time to use your voice. Now's the time. This is epic. This is like, shout out to all the ones that have been using their voice all throughout the news, because this isn't breaking news. This happened quite a while ago. But we have so much stuff, constantly being bombarded by the media, constantly being, pushed down our throat. We kind of overlook things like this. So like, the Diddy thing, big distraction, because while we was focused on Diddy, this was happening. So, like I said, call to prayer, call to action, a reflective moment of solace. This is the textbook definition of travesty of justice. Like, even the victim's family has spoken up for Mr. Williams. Even they see that this is wrong. But anyway, I'm just going to give a brief, somber moment before promoting all the projects that I need support from you this evening. Then we're going to dive on into the we want to dive on into the content after the brief overview of the Narrator podcast. This is a very sad moment, you guys. I'm really trying to fight back my tears. This is crazy. All right. So the first project that I need to, that I need your support is with the platform itself, the Narrator podcast. And the way you support the Narrative Podcast is to follow me on YouTube or X, formerly Twitter. And the reason why you want to follow me on those two mediums is because this platform automatically uploads to YouTube and X, formerly Twitter. So as soon as I'm done broadcasting, it automatically uploads to those two mediums. So you follow me on YouTube or X, and you will automatically be alerted to the latest episode of the Narrative Podcast. So you'll stay up to date with the newest episode of the Narrative Podcast if you follow me on YouTube or X. So my following instructions for YouTube is to obviously subscribe to my YouTube channel, and it's Halzie Allen, HALLZIE, Allen, ALLEN, and that is my viewer page. So, follow me on there, subscribe to my channel, click the bell icon, which is the notifications. Click that, and then click notification all, and then you will be notified every time an episode of the Narrative Podcast is uploaded to YouTube. And then also click the like icon, which if you're not a YouTube newbie, that's the thumbs up button. And then next to that, they got the comment box. Leave me a comment on the latest episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Let me know what you like about it, what you don't like about it, what you want to hear more of, what you want to hear less of. Your opinions do matter. And then obviously hit the share button. Share that episode of the Narrative Podcast across all platforms, across all media platforms, whatever you like to upload content to. Upload the latest episode of the Narrative Podcast across all media platforms. I'm going to hit you like Dr. Umar. I'm going to do it 3 times because 3 times is a mnemonic device. You will remember it. Share episodes of the Narrative Podcast across all platforms. Share episodes of the Narrative Podcast across all platforms. Share all episodes of the Narrative Podcast across all platforms. All right. And then this is how you support me on Twitter, or X, formerly Twitter. So you go to X, go to my page, I Stay Good at Halzie Allen, all lowercase, no spaces. And then once you've arrived to my page, and you'll know if you've arrived to the correct page, the way you know that is you will see a copy of my book of poetry that I wrote titled The Black Card pinned to the top of my page. And so once you confirm that you're on the correct page, when you see the latest episode of the Narrative Podcast, you will see the link. Click on that, and it'll take you to the episode. You can listen to it there, but don't listen to it there. Click the like button, which is in the shape of a heart. Click that once, and then the episode will fully expand, and you should see my banner, which is the Narrative Podcast. It's a picture. It's a microphone. It says the Narrative Podcast in it. So once it has fully expanded, I'll need you to click the like button again, located underneath the banner. And the like button is in the shape of a heart. So click the heart-shaped like button. And then you should notice like a little clock icon. Ignore the clock icon. And then leave me a comment in the comment box. Let me know what I'm doing right. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. Let me know what you want to hear more of. Let me know what you want to hear less of. Your opinions do matter. Because I'm trying to grow the platform and, need your help to do it. So I want to provide a good listening experience for the listening audience. Next to the comment box is obviously the share button. Or not the share button, but the most important button, the download button. This is the most pivotal, crucial thing. The download button is in the shape of a cloud. So click the cloud icon. The cloud icon has an arrow pointing down. That's the download button. So click it. And then you should see buffering and, 1%, 2%, blah, blah, blah. And then once the, episode is fully downloaded, that counts as a click for my algorithm. So remember to download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator Podcast. And then a quick, very important point of information about the Narrator Podcast. There are thousands of podcasts titled the Narrator Podcast. Make sure you're downloading the correct one. It's hosted by me, Halsey Allen. There's literally thousands of podcasts titled the Narrator Podcast, but mine is the only one that actually matters. I'm the only one that's actually speaking about important things, and that's a fact, not a personal observation. Like, I'm talking about critical social issues. They're talking about relationships and gaming and I don't know. Not the same content that I'm speaking about. But anyway, yeah, so you want to click the download button. And I mentioned, with that mnemonic device again, download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator Podcast, wherever you get your podcast source from. Download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator Podcast, wherever you get your podcast source from. Download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator Podcast, wherever you get your podcast source from. And then share the episode of the Narrator Podcast across all platforms. Whatever you like to upload content to, make sure you're uploading the newest episode of the Narrator Podcast across all platforms. And then one last thing, I'm speaking to my digital content creator family. If you are a visual content creator, meaning you're in front of a camera to upload your content, whether you're a YouTuber, Instagram Liver, Facebook Liver, whatever content that you upload that is visual, make sure you're shouting out the Narrative Podcast, hosted by me, Halsey Allen. I appreciate that so much. It'll come back to you a millionfold. The digital streets. It'll be like a trickle down thing. Once the platform blows up, it's collabos, it's interviews, it's merch, and you already know. If you know, you know. If you're an actual real deal content creator, you'll be there right at the ground floor as this thing's taking off. And you can have that under your belt. Yeah, I remember Halsey when he was just, doing the audio platform. So we already know how that works. So get there on the ground floor as this thing's taking off. Shout out the Narrative Podcast if you are a visual content creator. The opportunities are boundless right now. All right. So next thing I would like to promote that I need your assistance with supporting, or I would really, really like your assistance. Please support this project. It is my book of poetry that I've written. I've written a book of poetry titled The Black Card. It's a 30-page book of poetry. It chronicles our entire existence as a people, all our nuances of our culture, everything we experience as a people in the culture, both positive and negative, is captured in that book. I believe the literary term for it is a reflective piece. So the black card is a reflective piece on black people and black culture. So go check that out today. And the way you purchase it, it's only available currently on one medium, and it's poetizer.com. So head on over to poetizer.com. Poetizer.com has a virtual online bookstore. So go to poetizer.com's online bookstore and look for my title, written by me, Halsey Allen, The Black Card. Once you see the title, click buy, purchase The Black Card, written by me, Halsey Allen. Now, if you're unfamiliar with poetizer.com, Poetizer is basically a social media platform for writers, specifically poets. It's implied in the name, poetizer.com, but it's also open to all writing genres. Like whatever type of genre of writing you can think of is welcome on poetizer.com. They have, they welcome short story writers. They welcome essay writers. They welcome people that write novels. So it's a social media platform. They can socially interact with one another on that platform, whether it's just like hi and bye, writing on each other's walls, inboxing each other, critiquing your work, sharing resources, whatever. Socially interacting, social media, connect the dots. It's a social media platform for writers. But on that platform, they also have a self-publishing feature for members of that community, which will allow them to write a book, market the book, and sell the book. So that's why they have a virtual online bookstore. It's for the members of that social media platform. That's what poetizer.com is. So go on over to poetizer.com, visit their virtual online bookstore, and look for my title, The Black Card, written by me, Halsey Allen. Purchase your copy of The Black Card today or get your Black Card revoked. And last but not least, the last thing I need for you guys to support is my personal poetry blog on blogger.com. It is titled Halsey's Poetry Corner, and the link to it is www.mrhalseysblogs.com. And what Halsey's Poetry Corner blog is basically it's just a place that I have shared my personal poetry, and I have poems ranging from a wide array of topics. They're all inclusive. There's literally like a poem on there to commemorate every stage of life, anything in life. You're guaranteed to find a poem that deals with it. You're guaranteed to find a poem that deals with all emotions in the emotional spectrum, like everything from happy to sad to wondering, any type of emotion, human emotion you can feel. There's a poem on there to commemorate it. Another unique thing about the poems featured on Halsey's Poetry Corner, they're all spontaneously written in the moment. I didn't contemplate, what I was going to write about. I didn't contemplate on what I was going to title each piece. Literally, the inspiration came to me in the moment. Everything that I wrote about, that subject matter, was the furthest thing from my mind at the time. So, literally, like, basically the poems just come out. So whenever I'm inspired, I just post a poem on that poetry blog. Like I said, I don't contemplate about the subject matter. I don't contemplate on, what I'm going to title each piece. I just, I allow myself to be a vessel for inspiration. As they say, the universe inspires me. Like, whatever pops into my head, that's, what the piece is going to be about. And, that being said, I do have quite a few poems on there that are specifically for our community, original people community, black community. But for the most part, all the poems featured on Halsey's Poetry Corner are all inclusive. They're for everybody through all walks of life. Whatever you're going through in life, you're almost guaranteed to find a poem that relates to your situation, how you're feeling about something, what you're going through. You're guaranteed to relate to, the first couple of lines of a poem or an entire piece. You want to read it and be like, wow, that is me. That's what I'm going through. How did he know? So go check it out today. Halsey's Poetry Corner on blogger.com. at www.mrhalsey'sblogs.com. Now pay attention. This is how you support poems featured on Halsey's Poetry Corner. You go to the link, www.mrhalsey'sblogs.com, and you share the link or a poem featured on Halsey's Poetry Corner across all platforms. And then once you're on, Halsey's Poetry Corner, I also have a comment box underneath each piece of poetry. So you go on and click on that comment box, leave me a comment. And then also underneath the comment, or on the same line as the comment box, you will notice a like button. The like button icon is in the shape of a heart. Click on that heart-shaped like icon to like the poetry piece. So that's the instructions, how you support poems featured on Halsey's Poetry Corner across all platforms. And again, I want to give out the same instructions for my visual content creators. For all my visual content creators out there, if you have a visual platform, support Halsey's Poetry Corner on blogger.com at www.mrhalsey'sblogs.com. Basically, shout out Halsey's Poetry Corner, or if you've read a poem on there, you can just shout out the title. Hey, I read this poem, this amazing poem titled blah, 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 whatever you like, on Halsey's Poetry Corner. Go check that out today. Yada, yada, yada. You know the deal. So, to reiterate how you support poems featured on Halsey's Poetry Corner, you go to the link, www.mrhalsey'sblogs.com. You share the link or a poem featured on Halsey's Poetry Corner. You click the heart icon to like the poems on Halsey's Poetry Corner. You leave me a comment in the comment box on Halsey's Poetry Corner. And then, of course, you share the link to Hallzies Poetry Corner or a poem featured on Hallzies Poetry Corner across all platforms. And then a disclaimer that I want to give you the heads up. Now, when you click on that link, you're going to get a message that reads, this connection is not secure. It's going to have a little triangle. It's going to say this connection is not secure, but go ahead on and proceed anyway and read some great, amazing poetry. Don't let that warning deter you away from reading and enjoying poetry. I really highly doubt somebody's going to steal your personal information for checking out my poetry blog. I don't know why, they allow that warning, that data warning on there, but there is a data warning when you click on the link. It says, this connection is not secure, but, don't let that stop you from reading some amazing poetry. Go ahead on and click on the link anyway. Proceed to Hallzies Poetry Corner and do all the above. Like, comment, and share all poems featured on Hallzies Poetry Corner across all platforms. And again, my digital content creators, shout outs. Hallzies Poetry Corner, your favorite poem on Hallzies Poetry Corner. Anytime you do a visual content post. All right, that's it and that's all for all the projects that I need to promote right now. I will keep you updated on new projects. I'm constantly working on something. Every time I'm not behind the microphone, I'm working on something. So when I get all my other projects to the completion stage, you will be notified. So now we're going to dive into the brief overview of the Narrator podcast before diving into the content this evening. Starting at the top, Tippy, the name. I named my podcast the Narrator Podcast because I don't like the false narrative that the media weaves about original people and original people culture. I don't like how they divisively misappropriate our images and our likenesses across all media platforms. I don't like their agenda. I don't like the way they promote negative stereotypes and stigmas about our people and within our culture. So what I wanted to do to counter that is to design a platform where I'm showcasing and I'm highlighting our people at their best, engaging in positive activities and celebrating our accomplishments and our achievements, and basically providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture in an effort to change how our people are perceived across all media platforms. So basically to, change the narrative, hence the title, The Narrator Podcast, which I think is a great segue to my tagline, The Narrator Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original people culture. How do I destroy the negative stereotypes about our people and our culture? By providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So that's what the Narrator Podcast is essentially all about. I'm using this platform to provide the listening audience with positive frames of reference about original people and original people culture. I'm also, a part of my mission statement is to inform the listening audience of why it's important to responsibly utilize their platforms to share positive information about original people and original people culture on their platforms, and also to encourage the listening audience to responsibly utilize their platforms to responsibly share information about original people and original people culture. Now, the next thing you need to be aware of the Narrative Podcast is I call my target listening audience my narrators. And the reason why I call my target listening audience my narrators is because, you can just Google in, the definition of a narrator. The definition of a narrator is basically one who tells the story. So narration is like a verbal illustration. They're setting up the scenes. They're letting you know what the story is about. So when I refer to my target listening audience as my narrators, what I'm saying in that instance is basically, we as a people, original people, we have to tell or narrate our own stories. Because if history hasn't taught us anything, it's taught us this: if you don't tell your own story will be told for you. So that's what I mean when I call my target listening audience my narrators. And then just for a broader context of what I mean by that, we're living in the digital information age. We all utilize, the internet for various reasons. We socially interact with each other. We share information. You use the internet for something, whether it's, socially, whether it's to do business, something. All digital platforms also have a profile section. And in your profile section, whether you're just on the internet socializing, or if you're a business owner, or, a content creator, or, some type of influencer, you would use it to promote yourself or promote your brand. And generally, when you fill out your profile section, it's just a brief summary of you as an individual or you as an entity if you're a business owner. And then you follow up by uploading visual imagery that complement what you've entered about yourself, your product, or whatever you want the world to know about what you've entered in your profile section. And the visual imagery usually is the best possible visual representation to match what you've entered into your profile section. So say, for example, if you're a traveler, you like to travel, whether you're just traveling socially or you're a travel blogger, you're going to upload visual content that is reflective of what you've entered in your profile. So the visual content is the best possible visual image to represent what you've entered in your profile section. So you're going to upload pictures of, real elegant hotels. If you like to stay in hotels, you're going to upload the best possible visual images of the best hotels that money can buy. The most luxurious, glamorous hotel you could possibly, upload. Or if it's like an on the road thing, tourist attractions, the most popular tourist attractions. People that, come out in droves and thousands and hundreds and maybe millions flock to this one specific tourist attraction. And it's majestic and it's beautiful, whatever the picture is. It's majestic and it's beautiful and it's just the best possible visual representation of, your experience traveling. So said all that to say, as a people, as narrators, we need to be sharing the best possible visual images of ourselves, of our communities, of our families. What we don't need to be doing as a people is embracing these negative stereotypes and stigmas that the media has callously placed over us as a people. We don't need to be embracing the negative stereotype of, criminality. We don't need to be embracing the negative stereotype of gang banging, of gun culture, of drug dealing, of drug using. We don't need to be perpetuating the negative stereotype of the angry black man. We don't need to be perpetuating visual imagery of the angry black woman. We don't need to be perpetuating the negative visual stereotype of pimp culture, of whore culture. So we need to be responsibly utilizing our platforms to put out the best possible images of ourselves, of our families, of our communities, of our children, of our elders, of our lives. We need to be putting out, imagery that's reflective of our true nature as a people. And what is our true nature as a people? Kings and queens, gods and goddesses of the universe. Not niggas and bitches. Not pimps and hoes. Not this side versus that side. We need to be, posting positive visual imagery of leadership, of business ownership, of academic excellence, of us triumphing in the face of adversity, of us communicating effectively with one another, unifying as a people, engaging in something positive. Even if it's as trivial as, having a good day. A picture of you smiling, enjoying yourself, enjoying life. That changes the narrative immensely. So that's what I mean when I call my target listening audience my narrators. It's just a person that tells their own story. And the reason why we need to tell our own story, if history hasn't taught us anything, it's taught us this: if you don't tell your own story will be told for you. And that's precisely what the media is doing. They're telling our story for us. And it's a negative, dark, violent story. It's a degenerate, downtrodden, disenfranchised story. So we need to change it. It's not the end-all, be-all solution, but it is a solution. While we cannot control, what people outside of our culture think about us, how they see us, how they view us, how they relate to us and interact with us, we can control the type of content that we are putting out into the universe. All right, so next thing you need to be aware of about the Narrator Podcast, this is a positive, safe space for original people. I don't engage in any negativity, any gossip, any slander, any negative self-talk, negative isms about our people and our culture. I just, this is a place to uplift, edify our people and our culture. I promote positive reinforcement of our people and our culture. And, basically, in short, I don't engage in any nonsense or gossip or foolishness on this platform. There are tons of celebrity news platforms. There's tons of, gossip columns and articles and podcasts. This ain't it. This is a feel-good space, a space to, feel good about your people and your culture, the way we're represented, the way we're perceived, and just, this is a place where I'm just letting the world know everything we're doing right as a people. That's my primary focus and main goal. Now, this is also a place of truth. I don't tell lies. I tell it how it is, straight up, no chase. So while I don't promote, gossip and slander of our people, I do, however, call out enemies of our people. And the main enemy of our people that I call out are the enemies within our culture. So if somebody, I don't care how famous they are, how much a celebrity they are, if they're intentionally misappropriating our people's images and our likenesses, if they're intentionally playing up into negative stereotypes about our people and our culture for monetary gain, I will call said individual out on this platform. And I'm not going to be nice about it. But other than that, this is a place of positivity, a safe space for our people, just a place to feel good about our people. Essentially, I promote what I love and don't waste time bashing what I hate. This is an inspiring place of knowledge. I'm just, uplifting and edifying our people with positive frames of reference about our people, and inspiring the listening audience to do the same. Now, I do speak also about current events because I'm a podcaster, and that's just what you're supposed to do supposed to do as a podcaster is to talk about relevant events, current events, things happening around the world, things happening within our community, things happening on the internet. So that's just what podcasters do. I'm a podcaster. So, I talk about current events. But the way I always try to keep it in perspective, especially as it relates to our people, original people, is I break down whatever is going on from the perspective of the bigger picture. So meaning, like, usually when somebody from our communities in the news, unfortunately, it's usually for something negative. And so when I'm covering on my platform, I'm covering it from the bigger picture perspective. I'm letting you know the main things that are at play of why this individual is involved in something negative. And so the main thing that's usually at play is systemic oppression and psychological programming and conditioning. Those are usually the big two involved in the deviation of that individual's nature. Because remember, our true nature is kings and queens, gods and goddesses of the universe. So meaning our people, original people, like our very existence is in stride with nature, or in our original tongue, netter. So when we deviate from our original core being, we're deviating from nature. And we've been corrupted by the system to do that. And how they corrupt us, they use the media to do it. You know, it's psychological warfare. They corrupt our minds by feeding us negativity across all platforms. Constantly, all day, every day, something negative. In the music, on television, in movies, in advertisements. Our images are, depicted in a negative way. Our images and our likenesses are depicted in a negative way across all media platforms. And it's been like that since we've been here, in all corners of the world. Anywhere our people live in some type of form of government, we've been oppressed. That's on the systemic part. We've been denied access to wealth. We've been persecuted, chased out, exiled, castrated, treated very cruelly, treated unequally to the general population of whatever land that our people are located in. We're viewed as less than. We're treated as less than. We're denied wealth. They try to bridge a big wealth gap between us and the main population, which is usually white, wherever we reside at in the world. And so that's on the systemic side. So like I said, anything I'm covering in commentary can all be related back to those attributing factors of, why this person from our community is engaged in something negative. So it's never to slander them or call them names or call them about their name or, encourage, bashing or slandering. It's just basically to break down what happened from our perspective, to tell our story. So, that's how I do it when I'm delivering commentary. And the last thing you need to be aware about the Narrator podcast, or not the very last thing, pardon me, I jumped ahead of myself. Next thing is I'm a time-sensitive platform. I try not to exceed 1 hour per broadcast. This is an audio platform, so sometimes I do get a little long-winded, especially in the intro. But for the most part, I try to keep it under an hour, and when I'm over an hour, it's not really by much. You can't tell by listening if I ever go by over an hour. And the purpose of me doing that, well, number one, this is an audio platform. I don't want to bore the listening audience to sleep. I want to keep your attention. I want to keep you focused. I want to keep you informed. I want to keep you entertained. And I can't do that if I'm rambling and ranting. So I want all my content cohesive. I want it compact and digestible. You know, I don't want to beat you over the head with the message. I just want to deliver the message and make sure that the message is received. So I can't do that with a super duper lengthy broadcast. You know, I just want to give you the highlights, bring you up to speed, keep you up to speed, and give you what you need. Hey, that's a bar. I didn't even try. Yeah, but essentially that's the time purpose of the Narrative Podcast is just to keep it short, brief, and to the point. And then last but not least, this I refer to, our people on this platform, black people, Negro, African American, those with the Negroid gene as original people. I refer to our people as original people versus black for a couple reasons. Number one, it's historically accurate. Number two, it's a good all-inclusive way to unify us as a people, because we're so diverse. There are so many different types of us, hailing from so many different land masses, identifying as so many different things. This is just one way we can just universally say who we are as a people, and it includes everybody, no matter what you personally refer to yourself as. If you say you're an original man or woman, that's historically accurate and it's all inclusive. It covers all the bases. Whether you're Caribbean, whether you're Trini, whether you're North African, South African, whether you're a black person living in any Spanish-speaking land, whether you're on the continent of Asia, it's all inclusive. It's mic drop, whether you're descended from slaves or FBA, whatever. You're an original man, original woman, period. Mic drop, that's you. No separation, no division, all inclusive. Now on the historical accuracy, historical accurate side of it, what I mean when I say that we were and are the original people of this land. We originally inhabited every corner of the globe you can think of, and we also pretty much invented or originated everything you can think of. Before anything was, we was. Every modern day invention, we invented it. Period. And it can be proven with facts. We got the receipts on everything we ever created. We originated civilization. Civilization was, modeled after us, original people. We are the original blueprint for civilization. Wherever, race, color, creed, ethnicity, we was the original mold for everybody. Everything came after our DNA. So that's what I mean on the historical accuracy side of it, of us being original. Not only that, the word original is just empowering. It's impactful. Nothing is more important than the original. You base all your, analysis and data off the first. There's nothing more important than the first. Before anything else exists, there has to be the first one. of anything. Before you know it works, before you can make improvements, you have to base it off the original. And we are, and always will be, and always have been, the original. And I've already covered, what I mean on the unity side of it. So every segment I also, break down the false narrative of slavery. And the reason why I do that is because the powers that shouldn't be use it as an instrument of destruction, a form of psychological warfare, as a form of trauma and fear conditioning, and as a form of division amongst our people. So I'm going to break down some quick points about slavery that are just false and inaccurate, and then I'm going to dive into the content this evening. Number one, the very most important thing about slavery. They want to make slavery the most definitive time of our existence as a people. They want to make that the sole reason why we exist. When I just said we're the original people. So if we was, here before every other person that existed in the world, why is slavery the most definitive, most highlighted time of our existence? I'll tell you why. To, for the powers that shouldn't be to establish themselves as the supreme omnipotent beings. A way for them to say, I'm better than you. I used to own you. That's why they do that. We existed everywhere thousands of years before slavery. So if it was here first, obviously we existed before the person that started slavery. And the enslavers were people that did not resemble us. So if we was here before people that did not resemble us, does it not stand to reason that we got to all the places that we are now located in before slavery started, especially here in North America? But yet they want to say the colonizers giving them this much credit to be this intelligent, people whom we taught to survive. That they was just going to one specific spot and transporting our people all over the world, distributing this all over the world, keep on going back to Africa, getting us when we was already existing everywhere. Does that make sense that they keep that lie going? That we only got to wherever we're located in the world because they bought us over on a slave boat? That don't even make sense. We got to stop that lie. And it's not a slight against our brothers that's African. It's not saying we're so turned off by the mere notion that we have African lineage. This is just us saying, hey, you can't just tell us anything. Like we was already here in North America. We was already here in all parts of Europe. We was already in Germany. We was already in the Mediterranean. We was already on the continent of Asia. We was already in, Australia. We was already in all the islands, Hawaii, Bahamas. We was already there. We was even on originally the North Pole and the South Pole. large concentration of us. We got there on our own free will, on our own free accord, early in civilization, not on slave boats. Like, while slavery did happen, and it was real, and it was very unkind to us, and brutalized us all throughout it, the majority of us that got to anywhere in the world was already there. You know, that was the plan by the explorers, air quotes. What they did is just enslave the people that originally inhabited the lands that they explored. That's it. So they did transport some slaves from Africa, but there's a big lie about how long it went on, our involvement in it. Whole lot of false information surrounding it, and which, you know, could be traced back to fear mongering and them just spreading the false narrative, you know, to psychologically program us and condition us and divide us as a people, because we got this thing within our culture that, oh, you guys are the weak ones, you got captured in slavery, and then on the other side of it, oh, well, y'all some cowards. Y'all didn't try to come get us when the slave masters enslaved us. So that's us going at each other on that tip. But yeah, that's what I want to cover about, you know, the false narrative of slavery. It's basically like, you know, a fear-mongering purpose, and psychologically program us and condition us to be fearful of all forms of systemic government, to put us in a mind state where we won't ever question the people who we're under, that we darn sure won't ever rebel against the people that we're under, and to keep us docile and to keep us, you know, feeling inadequate about who we are as a people, because they, you know, focus on slavery, but they completely sidestep all our contributions to civilization, and, you know, dilute how great we were and how instrumental we were into cultivating civilization, meaning everything came from our people. But they don't ever want to give us, you know, acknowledgement of that. They only want to highlight the worst part of our existence, which is slavery. They don't want to denote that we were kings and queens, gods and goddesses, that we ruled over pretty much all we surveyed, that every system that actually worked, we created. Everything that ever brought harmony and balance anywhere in the world was because of us. They don't ever want to highlight that fact. But now that you know that you're pretty much up to speed with that, I'm going to dive into this content. And if you're still pretty hazy, I'm well over 300 episodes in, so remember to download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator podcast, wherever you get your podcast information from. And we're going to dive into this weekday edition of the Narrative podcast this evening. First and foremost, you should be aware of, you know, our broadcast during the weekday and the weekend. And I have two different format styles for each time that I broadcast during the weekday. It's broken down into sections. I have two sections. One section, you know, my platform is dedicated towards sharing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So the first frame of reference that I share about our people and our culture come in the form of positive news articles And then second, I follow up with commentary, and I commentate, from, whatever's going on in the world or whatever I, as a podcaster, feel is important, worth talking about, So my two sections during the weekday is positive news articles and commentary. Now, on the weekends, I have 5 sections. I'm not going to go over all 5 sections, but I start off with my positive frame of reference in place of the positive news articles on the weekends. I highlight black-owned, or as I call it, original people-owned businesses. And the reason why I do that is to provide the listening audience with a positive frame of reference about business ownership. And the reason why I do that is because we have a very limited supply of examples of what it means to be a business owner. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to break off my weekend format down. I'm going to concentrate on the weekday format because it's the weekday. It's a Tuesday. So up first, my first 2 sections is my positive news articles. And the reason why I have positive news articles during the weekday is to counter the negative news that we're exposed to all weekday long from the liberal media. Because that is a form of, psychological warfare. They're using the media to corrupt our viewpoints. They're trying to desensitize us to violence, desensitize us to degeneracy. They're trying to desensitize us to, our current, living situations, which is living in violence, living in poverty and depravity, and living and engaging in lewd, degenerate acts, cooning and buffooning. They want to normalize that with the media. They want to alter how we perceive each other, how we perceive ourselves, interact with one another, respond and react to each other using, these negative news headlines and, things happening in the world as far as our people is concerned. So to counter that, my positive frame of reference on here on the Narrator podcast, I focus in on positive news articles just to put out in the universe and the atmosphere that positive things do happen within our community. We are leaders. We are change makers. We are business owners. We care about our communities. We are philanthropists. We are humanitarians. We do good, and we inspire good. So that's why I do my positive news articles during the weekday. They just, change the narrative that, no good things happen within our communities. So having said that, I'm going to dive on into the first positive news article on this weekday edition of the Narrator podcast. With my very first news article, the headline reads, Black Farmer Fund raises $2 million in capital in its second fund to improve black food system in the Northeast. The Black Farmer Fund was founded by 2 sisters by the name of Olivia Watkins and Karen Washington. They raised $11 million to provide $11 million in wealth building opportunities in September of last year, 2023. They have since then expanded their initiative goal by $20 million. The intent is to boost the black food system in the Northeast. The Biden administration in July of 2024 addressed $2.2 billion in federal aid to thousands of black farmers affected by racial discrimination, particularly in the states like Mississippi and Alabama. Recipients include New England, Sweet Farm and Distillery in New Hampshire, and Narrator, Nourier, in New York Global Village. Narrator in New York, Global Village in Vermont, and Eden Q in New York. The businesses are expected to help further goals by promoting sustainable agriculture and crafting opportunities for black farmers. The Black Farmer Fund, you can learn more about that at theblackfarmerfund.org. And if you have specific questions, you can ask at info@blackfarmerfund.org. And their copyright information is copyright 2023, impact number 38737. And then they got the physical address 228 Park Ave South, New York, 1003, US. And once again, that's the Black Farmers Fund, founded by our two sisters, Olivia Watkins and Karen Washington. So join me into giving those two sisters, Olivia and Karen, a warm narrative podcast round of applause for the Black Farmer Fund. All right, keeping her going. Next positive news article this week here on the Narrative Podcast. The headline reads, Black entrepreneur formerly incarcerated for 22 years is now an in-demand keynote speaker. And the brother's name is Yusuf Andre Wiley. Yusuf was formerly incarcerated for 22 years after being arrested for gang activity in LA, but he's now a seasoned entrepreneur and a keynote speaker with over 25 years of experience captivating audiences worldwide. He has used his expertise as an entrepreneur and public speaker to build a successful multi-million-dollar organization dedicated to empowering individuals to overcome adversity and realizing their full potential. He's a distinguished member of John Maxwell team. He's a TEDx speaker. He has spearheaded multiple re-entry programs for ex-convicts. He also is a motivational speaker for Fortune 500 companies. And some of his keynote speeches include rethinking approaches to criminal justice, breaking the cycle, strategies for re-entry and rehabilitation, injustice in black and white, adding racial depravities in the criminal justice system, beyond bars, transforming lives through alternative sentencing, the role of community engagement in community justice and reform, from cells to success, empowering formerly incarcerated individuals in the workforce, restorative justice, healing communities and restoring trust, the intersection of mental health and criminal justice, challenging the school to prison pipeline, creating pathways for youth success, policy matters, advocating for legislative change in the criminal justice reform. And if you want to know more about any projects that he has, follow him on yusufspeaks.com. That's at ywspeak.com. Or follow him on Facebook and Instagram, Yusuf Andre Wiley. Yusuf Wiley in quotation marks. Yusuf Wiley at Andre Wiley Sr. That's on IG. And then you can also call him directly. You know, if you have any press related questions, if you want to interview him, call him at 510-552-1256. And once again, the brother's name is Yusuf Andre Wiley. So obviously Andre Wiley is his government name and Yusuf is his Muslim name. So join me in a Warm Narrative podcast round of applause for our brother Yusuf Andre Wiley, keynote speaker, serial entrepreneur, social justice activist, advocate, prison reform activist, advocate, TED Talk, motivational speaker, author, Yusuf Andre Wiley. And now up next, save the best for last. My last positive news article this week, or not this week, this evening, pardon me, I jumped ahead of myself. My last positive news article this evening on this weekday edition of the Narrative Podcast. The headline reads, 11-year-old boy launches lemonade brand already in grocery stores. Pardon me, I left out one of the more crucial parts of the headline. 11-year-old autistic boy launches lemonade brand already in grocery stores. And the young brother's name is Aubrey Green. And Aubrey is from Richmond, Virginia. And the name of his brand is called Breezy's Lemonade. His products were being sold at his hometown. And I said were because the article was back in I think like 2011 or 12. But sometimes, like the I don't know, the source that I'm following, sometimes they just, they kind of recycle articles sometimes. But the goal on here is just to share positive news articles. So he is now like well over 11. So pretty much a grown man now, but his site is still up though. So anyway, go support this young brother, and his brand is Breezy's Lemonade. Basically his story started when he showed his mother a picture of a lemonade squeezer. He saw it was on sale at Bed Bath & Beyond. He said he wanted it. And she asked her, well, what are you going to use it for? She said, to make lemonade, sell lemonade. So he started selling lemonade to his mom's friends. Then slowly, throughout the neighborhood. They started off small. They started using just, plastic cups or styrofoam cups, plastic cups. Then they upgraded to pouches, and then later on the jugs. So after they got the jug status, when people was wanting his lemonade by the jug, his mother started an IG so he can advertise his brand. And so on IG, he's Breezy_lemonade, and then you can go to his website from the IG. Click on the link, breezy'slemonade.bigcartel.com, and then once you will see all the varieties of lemonade he has. They also have merch. He has t-shirts, hats, and then I also noticed another popular item. He's also doing like his version of a Arnold Palmer lemonade and tea, but that's on the website currently sold out. So I guess that's super duper popular. So keep checking out the website for the for his version of the Arnold Palmer. I don't know why I keep on struggling saying that word, Arnold Palmer, which is just like mixing lemonade and tea. But yeah, you got some exceptional flavors that I can honestly say I've never heard of before being mixed. You got the mango lemonade. You got, all different types of exotic flavors. Got raspberry, got the blue raspberry lemonade, all kinds of stuff. So go check it out. Breezy's Lemonade at breezy'slemonade.bigcartel.com. So join me into giving our young brother Aubrey Green of Breezy's Lemonade a warm narrative podcast round of applause. And then last but not least, on my very last section of the Narrative Podcast Weekday Edition, we're going to dive on into my commentary section that I refer to as my speaking point section. And in my speaking point section, I'm just addressing current news, around the world, nationally, or within our community, or anything that I deem worthy of discussing, because it's my platform. And the reason why I do that is to control the narrative, because the media have us, just, looking bad and sounding bad. So, when I'm delivering commentary, I'm just basically unpacking it, whatever is going on in the world or whatever is going viral on the internet from our perspective as it relates to our people. Because if history hasn't taught us anything, it's taught us this: if you don't tell your own story, your own story will be told for you. So that's what I'm doing in my speaking point section, is telling our story for us. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about tonight is a very disturbing headline. A young lady by the name of Zoe Ali, and not Ali with an A, Ali with an O, O-L-I. She's currently calling for support for her brand, Curly Me. So what happened with Curly Me is Curly Me is a doll that she came up with. I have covered her story on my platform several episodes ago, but to reiterate in case you forgot, because this is like way back, I'm like almost at episode 400, so this is like way back in the hundreds. I covered her story a while back, and basically like what she did is she created a doll, kind of like a Black Barbie, but her doll is about natural hair. That's the selling point of her doll. That's why it's called Curly Me. All textures of original women's hair. You know, curly, kinky, you know, just natural hair, unprocessed, unchemicalized hair for, you know, original women. And the dolls is all flesh tones as well. And so that's what her doll is about. It's to inspire body confidence for young ladies that are original, have original, you know, textures of hair, to break the stigma of what is called good hair. So if you got a coarse grade, what is that? Bad hair? So, you know, that's what she came up with, that brand, to inspire, you know, self-esteem about, you know, hair. That's something prevalent our young ladies have to deal with. That's a real thing that they get stigmatized about, is their hair. So not only that, she came up with that doll, she also writes books as well. But it's a call to action tonight to support this young lady for her business that she started at only 12 years old. These bastards, pardon my language, Wells Fargo funded, you know, that's who the bank that they was using their business, for their business. They was using Wells Fargo. They froze her accounts. Like, she can't take money out, she can't put money in. So to support her brand, head on over to curlyme.com, buy as much stock as possible, and then also purchase her books as well, because that's all related to her brand, and the name of her book is called. So head on over to beautifulcurlyme.com. She has tons of things on the website. She got some books. Purchase those. Beautiful Curly Me coloring books. She also got jigsaw puzzles, STEM puzzles, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics. Stickers. She also has hair care accessory, bonnets. Not a fan of bonnets. Like, here's the thing, as long as they stay in-house, if you're using it to maintain your hair in your home, ladies, that's ladylike. I got no issues with the bonnet. If I see a woman with a bonnet in her home, But when the bonnets out in grocery stores, out in airports, buses, like all forms of public transportation, it's not ladylike. It's not a good look. It's only meant to be worn in your home to maintain your hair. Now, if you have a bonnet, like if it's raining outside and you want to like leave your vehicle to go in, that's a different story. If you're like going right back to your vehicle, if it's like raining, so I know sisters with the, you know, how it is with the water, you want to maintain the dew, but yeah, any other place besides the house is not ladylike. That's not what's up. Stop with the bonnet. Oh, well, men wear do-rags. Come on, stop it. When the last time you seen a brother with a do-rag? The only type of brothers that really wear do-rags is wavers for real. If you a real waver, they got them 360 waves, you know, you gonna wear a do-rag. If you're wearing cornrows, do-rag. Now they got lock caps. So for the brothers that got dreads, they're wearing lock caps now. But, you know, brothers really don't be wearing do-rags, so don't even try to use that argument no more. Don't come out the house with the bonnet. But I didn't mean to get off sidetracked, but the young lady has bonnets on her page. You make yourself sound. Stop attacking Janet Jackson over this crazy nonsense. It's dumb, it's stupid. You make yourself sound dumb and stupid. I hate calling people dumb and stupid, but this argument surrounding this is dumb and stupid. America is a corporation. If you're a W-2 employee, you are a corporate employee. You work for the United States of America. Who becomes the president? Corporations pick who becomes the president. They fund the candidates, okay? Do you get it? Our vote is just like, you know, it's superficial. There's an electoral voting college. So all we're in charge of is the popular vote. So why back somebody that can't even keep up the united front of the vote? This lady, she don't look the part, she don't sound the part. All she got is that annoying cackle. She don't take nothing serious. She quite frankly sounds inebriated on all her speeches, slurring her words and stuff. Is Donald Trump any better? No, he's better than her. But if you're going to vote for somebody because they black, vote for Cornel West. You got an Islamic running mate, a sister. They both black on both sides. Their lineage ain't questionable. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh wow. Pardon me, y'all. I'm gonna need like a couple seconds. So this just in. Marcellus Wallace has been executed. This innocent brother has been executed. They didn't have any evidence. No circumstantial evidence, no physical evidence linking him to the crime. The man even had the victim's family speaking up for him, and they executed him anyway. So we're going to end this with just like a reflection, a time to reflect and, you know, seek the higher power, whatever you perceive as God, or, you know, anything outside of you. Right now, we ask for that power right now because, you know, it's about to get real bad. I don't think the people of that state is taking that too well right now. So the Narrator Podcast is sending our most heartfelt, heaviest condolences to the family of our fallen brethren who got wrongfully taken from us this evening by a corrupt system. Marcellus Williams. So, while I don't believe celebrities can solve all our problems, from not looking for a celebrity for guidance or anything like that, I do beseech everybody in our entertainment community to really utilize their platform in this time right now, and just, if they don't have the words, just a picture to acknowledge this atrocity. Like dedicate something to this brother's memory and deliver some type of solace to his family and to his legacy and, you know, his city, because they need it right now. This is like I said, you know, his life was hanging in the balance, and like I really thought, you know, I thought wrong, but, you know, so I'm ending here because I'm shaking right now. I'm ending right here. We're going to extend love, light, healing energy to this brother's family, friends, associate, colleagues, everybody that was lobbying around, everybody that actually, called, everybody that called Governor Parson, everybody that wrote the judge. So I don't know, we got to find a way to not make it be in vain. Some type of something. This is the travesty of justice. Like, I'm gonna end it here. I'm trying to get it together, y'all. Join me next time for another full episode of the Narrator Podcast. Join me this weekend for a full edition of the Narrator Podcast. Tune in to me for the rest of this week for weekday episodes of the Narrative Podcast. And remember, I'm available on all, major podcast platforms. So wherever you get your podcast source from, the Narrative Podcast is right there. Make sure it's hosted by me, Halsey Allen. That's the correct one to follow. Download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast, from your preferred podcast source. And I'll see y'all next time. This is a hard time, but, we're going to get through this. We're going to change the narrative. I'm changing the narrative on my end, one episode at a time. I'm asking you to help me change the narrative on your end, one social media post at a time. Until next time, Halsey Allen, the Narrative Podcast, signing off, and it's like that.
To the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.